Consciousness is really an ill-defined term. A lot of people talk about consciousness as one of the most fundamental parts of the human experience. But at the same time, we don't really have great definitions for consciousness. And the one that often comes up is that consciousness is self awareness and awareness of sort of things out there in the world in ways that sort of give them some independence in terms of their structure or their identity. But when we think about consciousness, we should really try to think about consciousness on more of a continuum. So, in terms of our conscious experience of the world, can we truly be conscious of a lie, a statement that has falsity? If in our awareness that statement is taken with truth, and in our mind we are conscious, so to speak, of that statement being true, but it is in fact false or only true to some limited universe of discourse. And so this really kind of begs the question. We're aware of a state of a thing to be a certain way, but there is some discord and there are some missing assumptions in there that really would paint the world in a slightly different way. You can become aware of the discrepancies as being things that have a very, very high truth value, something very close to one in the respect that they have very low discord, they have very high consistency in general. But does that make it necessarily that thing? So if I am aware of myself being in a particular state, I see me here, consciously aware of myself in the room, sitting here talking to the camera. What can I really say about consciousness? I mean, yeah, I'm sitting here, aware of myself, talking to the camera. But also, if I think more about it, I notice that there's other stuff going on. And I'm not necessarily talking to the camera in the most ultimate sense of that. So I'm aware of the fact that I'm essentially trying to project information out into the world at this point. And the camera is just a medium. And I must also now realize I have to pay attention to my microphone, etc. So consciousness becomes a very, very difficult thing when we don't have definitions that are satisfactory in terms of the things we're conscious of. And I really think that that is the point of I'm trying to make, is that we can put consciousness on a continuum of awareness between belief in falsities and belief in truth. And so I think this is a good perspective on consciousness in terms of trying to possibly quantify what we mean when we sort of deal with the notion of being conscious and what it means to be a conscious being. And even dogs really are conscious in the sense that they can sense other dogs in terms of smells. Maybe for a dog, they detect their own smell. Maybe it isn't that they know it's them, but maybe that smell projects a sense of pleasure within the dog that makes them want to spread that smell. I know that sounds stupid, but in the sense, that little connection to the world gives the dog a sense of consciousness of itself and its place in the world that, from our perspective, may define consciousness for the dog, but from our perspective is really not consciousness unless we have a good definition. That's all I wanted to say. And in terms of a podcast that relates to these ideas, I refer you to Closer to Truth. It's very good podcast, and a YouTube channel. One of my favorite YouTube channels, a ton of content. So that's it.